This is Mrs. Reichelt, and our next video that we're going to go through goes through the accessory organs of the digestive system. So it's a pretty quick little video. We're going to go through the teeth, the salivary glands, the pancreas, the liver, and the gallbladder in a little bit more detail. So we'll go ahead and get started. So a couple of things. The teeth, the major function of the teeth is to masticate. Remember, mastication means to chew. So it's just going to chew up food, physically chew up food. Humans do have two sets of teeth. Sometimes the first set, we call them baby teeth. Probably the better term is to call them the deciduous teeth. Sort of like a deciduous tree will lose its leaves in the fall. Deciduous teeth will end up coming out. Sometimes we call them milk teeth, so that's our first set. So it will tell you, you're probably going to get your front teeth between 6 and 8 months. You'll get your lateral ones between 8 and 10 months. And then your canines are going to come in about 16 to 20 months. And then your molars are anywhere between 10 and 15 months. And then your 2-year molars are the ones that are at the end. Be aware that these numbers, these months are not real specific. That's just when most of them come in. Then you have permanent teeth, which replace your deciduous teeth between the ages of 6 and 12. Typically, I think dentists say that the longer you take for a kid to lose their baby teeth, the better. But a full set of teeth is 32 teeth. Some people don't have wisdom teeth, which are your third molars, which are way back here at the very end. So typically you have 32, but some people don't have wisdom teeth now. Some people have 1, 2, 3, or some people have all 4. If they do have wisdom teeth, typically they're going to appear between ages 17 and 25. The next organ that we're going to go through, I guess maybe not organ, but our glands are the salivary gland. So the salivary gland are basically just 3 pairs of glands that empty secretions into the mouth. So sometimes I always feel like if you think of something sour, you can probably feel your salivary glands working. So you have 3 major salivary glands, but one of them is going to be right by your tongue. One of them's kind of in the back of your mouth, and one of them comes out from kind of the top part of your mouth. And saliva, the whole function of saliva is that it's a mixture of mucus and serous fluids. Basically, it helps to form a food bolus. So the next time that you're chewing something, I want you to, as you chew it, I want you to think about what your tongue is doing. You should find that your tongue is kind of like rolling your food into a ball as it hits the hard palate. It rolls it into a ball, and it also pushes it back towards your basically your pharynx, so it can end up being swallowed. Then the whole function of saliva is it helps keep that food bolus together. It also contains salivary amylase, ASE. ASE words means that they're an enzyme, so salivary amylase is an enzyme, and it aids in starch or sugar digestion, and it also will dissolve chemicals so that they can be tasted. The next up is the pancreas. The pancreas extends from across the abdomen from the spleen to the duodenum or the duodenum. So this is your pancreas right in here, this kind of yellow one. The function here is it produces a wide spectrum of digestive enzymes. It breaks down all categories of food, so that includes things like fats, carbs, and protein. Okay, enzymes are going to be secreted into the duodenum. Alkaline fluid is introduced with enzymes, which neutralizes the acidic chyme that comes from the stomach. This basically means that it's kind of like a pH buffer. It acts as a buffer system so things don't get too acidic. And then the major hormones that it produces are insulin and glucagon. We talked about these in the endocrine videos. So if you're not sure about those, you might want to go back and check that out. Next up is the liver. The liver is the largest gland in your body. It's located on the right side of the body, just under the diaphragm. It's actually a pretty large organ right in here. And this is connected to the gallbladder through the common hepatic duct. And then bile, I should have put a little picture. It's kind of yellow and kind of circly little. Sometimes they show them as being green. But bile is produced by livers or cells in the liver. The composition of bile is that it's made up of bile salts, bile pigments, and cholesterol, phospholipids, and electrolytes. The function of bile is to emulsify fat, and it physically breaks down large fat into smaller fat substances. So the gallbladder is, so basically the gallbladder is where bile is going to be stored here. So when there's no digestion occurring, bile will back up into the cystic duct for storage in the gallbladder. So the liver's kind of back around here. I'm not drawing a very good liver, but if this was your liver, you're going to have bile is going to be formed in the liver, but it's going to be stored in the gallbladder. When digestion of fatty acids or fatty acid food occurs, bile will then be introduced from the into the small intestine from the gallbladder. So the higher fatty foods that you eat, the more bile you're going to use. Gallstones can occur. They're crystallized cholesterol, which can cause blockages. If people get a lot of gallstones, they may have their gallbladder removed. You can live without your gallbladder, but just be aware that gallbladders deals with the storage of bile. So people who do get rid of their gallbladders do have to be really careful about eating really fatty foods. Oh, and it looks like that's the end of that. I hope you found that helpful.